Rick Horrow keeping score, the trillion-dollar business of sports, and we always talk about leagues and teams and executives and events. Now we have something that's a little bit different. We have technology, but it's also wearable, and it is a system, as their PR info says, robust enough to prepare a Navy SEAL for battle, but with the form factor and design that an average athlete would be comfortable wearing 24 hours a day. Well, we got the guy who will explain exactly the details from a business perspective. The company is called Whoop, and the co-founder and CEO is Will Ahmed. Will, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So it's an easy question. How does a Harvard College scholar and captain of the Harvard's men's varsity squash team join a couple of Harvard guys and prepare this? Give us an elevator speech of how you created this idea.
Yeah, I mean, I was fascinated by the space, and then I was also personally, someone who would overtrain or undertrain or misinterpret fitness peaks as an athlete. And I felt like there were a number of athletes who, also were going through similar challenges of properly measuring recovery or sleep or strain in general. So I did a lot of physiology research while I was at Harvard. I met with a number of cardiologists and physiologists. I read something like 300 medical papers. And I wrote a paper on how I thought you could continuously understand the body. And in the process, I met John Capiloupo, one of my co-founders, our CTO. John was studying the hardest math class at Harvard, and his father is actually an exercise physiologist. And then we also met Aurelia Nicolai, who was one of the best mechanical engineers at Harvard and could rapidly prototype. And the fourth person that we recruited is Martin Oberhauser, who is widely considered one of the best information graphic designers in the world. And the four of us, set out to create sort of a minimum viable vision around how we could create hardware and software and analytics to really unlock performance. And that was in 2012, and we've been at it for 4 years now. Today we've got 50 employees in our Boston office, and we're fortunate to work with professional athletes, collegiate athletes, Olympians, and the military.
It's a great story, and also it's a great template. I've heard a lot of monikers in the context of this business show that we do with Reuters, but an MVV, minimum viable vision, that's a first. Was that created as a kind of parameter for all future economic modeling that you were doing? Did it just come to you at one night? How'd you create the template?
Well, the overall framework for monitoring the body was really framed around some of the problems that we saw athletes were encountering. So in particular, if you think about overtraining, it's really just a mismatch between strain and recovery. So if you have a low recovery and you're taking on a lot of strain and you're doing that every day, you're overtraining your body. And what you want is your recovery and your strain to be at an equal level. That's optimal training. And so, from the beginning, we had this vision around, monitoring the body through the lens of strain and recovery. And, those are two of our key pillars on our platform, and I think a big differentiator for us in the space. Whoop is the first product to continuously monitor the body around strain and recovery.
Is the application of this, obviously the elite athlete from a marketing 101 perspective gives you visibility and exposure, but how adaptable is this product to the weekend warrior?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're proud to announce our Generation 2.0 product, Whoop Strap 2.0. It's going to be shipping before the end of the year, and it's our first public availability, so anyone can buy it. We really view the aspirational athlete as, an audience that hasn't been properly served to date and deserves to better understand their body. So if you think about the high school athlete who's, dealing with the stresses of school life, maybe wants to get recruited, maybe wants to be a professional athlete. If you think about the fitness enthusiast who exercises 3 to 5 times a week, likes to go to classes, exercise is part of who they are. And you also think about the endurance competitor, people who who run and cycle and swim, maybe compete in marathons or triathlons. That's really an audience that I think is competitive at its core, wants to perform at a high level, whether it be with exercise or sports or actually just in their daily life. And for the Whoop system, we're able to offer the same analytics that we provide for the best athletes in the world to this aspirational audience. And I believe it's going to be a very compelling offering.
So basically, Will, the key to the differentiation of Whoops is it provides data analytics that nobody else can have, but you have to work with a personal trainer or those close to you to interpret the data. Is that correct? And to act on it?
No, so, Whoop provides many layers of data, and at its simplest level, we're measuring strain, so that's the intensity of a workout or the intensity of your overall day. We're measuring recovery, which tells you how much strain to put on your body, and we're measuring sleep. And in particular, if you think about sleep, Whoop is the first platform to actually tell you how much sleep you need before you go to bed. So we actually tell athletes, before you go to bed, this is how much sleep you need for peak performance for tomorrow. And then an athlete goes to bed and they wake up in the hours of sleep that they got. The relationship to the sleep that they needed is this concept of sleep performance. And the whole system, I would say, sorry, go ahead.
No, you finish up, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the whole system is really designed to live a step ahead of the athlete. So, you wake up in the morning, you've got a recovery. That recovery is telling you how much strain to take onto your body over the course of the day. Then over the course of the day, you accumulate strain, whether in the form of workouts or various stresses, daily activity. And at the end of the day, we look at the strain you've accumulated, and we tell you how much sleep you need to properly recover. So it's really trying to live a step ahead of the individual, and because these analytics are so personalized, it has a wider application.
The process that you've gone through and the release that you've sent out it's not in the too good to be true category, but it certainly got my attention. The study that you referred to of the NCAA athletes, 41 additional minutes of sleep each night, injury reduction by 60%. Resting heart rate lowered by 4.4 BPM. These are not insignificant, plus the caffeine use reduction by 86%. Basically, how did they do it? How did you do it? And how were you able to report such fantastic successes?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Rick. It's been a little bit amazing to see how profoundly college athletes have changed behavior since they've been on the platform. I think it's no small task to get athletes to sleep more and drink less alcohol. At its core, right, Whoop is providing data that athletes haven't had before. And I think, it's easy to feel invincible when you're training a lot, or it's even easy to feel invincible just if you're that type of personality where you believe you can push your body. But when athletes started competing about how well they were sleeping and how well they were recovering, not just how much exercise they were putting on their bodies, right? But really, what am I doing the other 20 hours of the day? When there, became more attention to that, and when they could see it for themselves in the data, that's when we realized, there's something happening here, and you see it in the results that we've had, like you mentioned, athletes sleeping 41 minutes more per night, athletes reducing alcohol consumption, the fitness improvements, and then also we've seen athletes reduce injury reporting by 60%. So again, pretty valuable.
And let's spend a couple more minutes talking about the business side of this equation. You said 50 employees, well capitalized, because it's a business show and a business audience. So capitalization, employees, where you're going with this, what your model to profitability is, and your path to success.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been working with professional athletes, collegiate athletes, and ultimately elite teams, and we have a business model to serve teams. So we provide the hardware for continuously monitoring the athletes. We also then create a team dashboard that allows coaches and trainers to view different athletes' data. It has a lot of customization associated with that. We have data export functionality that allows teams to export their data and overlay it with other things that they may be collecting. And then we also give teams access to our data scientists at Whoop who work closely with these teams to really, optimize performance. So that's the team business model, and it's various subscription levels, anywhere from $100 to $200 per athlete per month. And then on the the product that we're offering today, so a new product offering, WhoopStrap 2.0. That's for the hardware. It's going to provide, the aspirational athlete, the individual, with the hardware to really understand the body, and it's going to have the same baseline of analytics that we use for analyzing, the best athletes in the world. So strain, recovery, sleep, information that can be shared with other users.
After the Ryan Lochte's of the world and others perform well in the Olympics, and there's even more visibility around this product than there was before, do you see teams and pro sports leagues and colleges making this available for their athletes to maximize performance?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, it's the data speaks for itself in a lot of ways, and it's also a question of how important is success to these teams. And, for almost all college athletes, and especially professional athletes, there's actually dollar signs associated with winning or losing. So in that case, it's very important to make sure you're optimizing your athlete's ability to win. And then furthermore, I think it's the right thing to do from a health standpoint, because now for once you're able to actually understand the stresses on these athletes and train them appropriately.
Well, I will tell you, after listening to the story, it's an incredible company, and I wish you all the success in the world. And also, after 3 years at Harvard Law School trying to fake playing good squash at Dunster House, the fact that you were the captain of the Harvard's men's varsity squash team may be even more of a significant accomplishment than anything else. Good luck, and speak with you soon.
Thanks so much, Rick. Really enjoyed it.